We're talking about a wolf, man. That's what this movie's all about. That's what Lee Wynell, the director here, decided to bring us. He decided to bring us a movie about family, about fatherhood, about not letting the traumas and the things that harm you. Don't bring that to your family, man. Your dad, we get it. We saw the first 12 minutes of this movie. He still seems like a pretty good guy. You know what I'm saying? But he's a little stern. He was a little hard on you. You were living out in the middle of the woods. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have a lot of protections around you. And plus, you had a monster man in the woods as well that you interacted with as a kid that for some reason, when you come back home, you seem to forget ever really happened. Because that's how this movie starts off. He's a kid, he's with his dad. His dad is like teaching him about surviving in the woods and everything like that. They come across a wolf man. There's like multiple wolf men in this movie. Blake, all grown up, he's now with his journalist wife. They're living in a big city and in a little high rise. He's with his daughter now. He gets a letter that his dad has officially died. So he goes back out there to go get his father's things. They ended up getting attacked on the road. Their truck flips over, and the next thing you know, they have to survive. He gets scratched by the wolf man. You see all this in the trailer, and then they gotta survive while he is also turning into a wolf man in the house inside, and they have to protect themselves from the wolf man outside. It's pretty much the whole movie is the Wolfman becoming the Wolfman. Now, even though, like I said, there's a lot of themes and a lot of emotions, at the end of the day, this movie is pretty cheap. It is pretty stationary. It's almost like a bottle film. You're in one spot practically the whole movie. Why am I saying practically? You're in one spot the whole movie. They don't really use the house all that much. And when you come back to this house, you think they're going to use these things that they somewhat set up at the beginning. His father knowing about this wolf man, he's writing down notes. He sees his father talking to a friend over the CB radio about the wolf man. He almost got killed by the wolf man. He had an encounter with it. You would think when he comes back to the house, or just thinking about coming back to the house, you feel like he would have more encounters with it throughout his years. But I thought they would bring this notepad that they focus on his father writing in some point in the movie. They just never really do, which kind of makes that first 10 to 12 minutes seem almost unnecessary, because anything that's in those 10 to 12 minutes doesn't really come back into the story all that much, or into helping them figure out or beat this Wolfman. It does come to a reveal at the end of the movie, or towards the beginning of the third act of the movie, that you probably can guess what is happening if you watch this movie. There's not many characters in it. There's not many different ways this movie can go. It's the easiest twist to figure out what's gonna happen. It just kind of fell flat. For that first 12 minutes, you built up a lot of things that I thought was gonna come back towards the end or throughout the movie to help guide this story along, and it just doesn't. The whole story is that he's just transitioning throughout the movie and trying to keep his children safe before he inevitably transitions fully. I do like what Lee Wynell does with this movie here. He does a lot of things with the camera movements, playing with putting you in the perspective of the Wolfman as he is transitioning, to keep it somewhat fresh, to keep it somewhat entertaining, and to keep you somewhat invested. But for the most part, after a couple of times, you kind of understand what's happening. I feel like if they would have really, while he was transforming, really get to see his perspective on everything, as the feeling of him changing his body, is his whole ordeal, the way the world looks to him. I feel like if they would have done a little bit more with that, maybe it would have been a little bit more entertaining. But for the most part, the first couple of times it happens, you're really like, oh wow, that's pretty nice. By the third time it happens, you're kind of just like, it's not all that interesting. But what I do like about it is that they show you why these guys go as crazy as they do, and why the world around them, just by looking at the world around them, it's like this. It's like It's like their mental state is transported to a negative universe where everything is blinking and loud and all these extra senses, and everybody's faces looks like demons and monsters. So it's kind of like they feel like they're looking at monsters and you are also looking at monsters. So I really like that perspective that they utilize here with that. Like I said, for the most part, they don't do much with it. It's pretty stationary, it's pretty tight. It's just a bottle film. They have to survive. And movies don't kill kids. So they didn't get this kid killed. So I can tell you that much. I don't want them to kill a kid, but I just wanted them to, put a little bit more fear in and make things a little bit more scary. I mean, this is somewhat of a horror movie, and it is Lee Whannell, the creator of Saw, but this movie is just not that scary or horrific or suspenseful, but it is somewhat entertaining, and it is a well-made movie. But I don't think you need to go out and see this in like I saw this in IMAX. Seeing it in IMAX, I was like, I don't think this is required for IMAX. I think this would probably work better at your house, in your home, while you're comfortable. But if you're like one of those people who just like want to see a scary movie and want to feel squeamish and want to see some fun camera tricks and movements, then I guess this is your movie. It can entertain you for some time, but it's just not much going on here. So I would rate Wolfman probably about a 5. Nah, I won't go that low. 6 out of 10. I'll probably rate it about a good 6 out of 10. Just because of the camera direction, all the hard work that it looks like it went through in the editing and creating this world that they put you through the Wolfman's transitioning, putting you into their perspective. But the lacking of story and any sort of progression other than his transformation, and a lot of the scares aren't that scary, and a lot of the suspense isn't keep putting you on the edge of your seat. You just stop caring at some point, really. Thank you for watching. If you disagree, well, subscribe. Maybe we didn't twin up on this one. Maybe we didn't link up. Maybe we wasn't, maybe we wasn't side by side on this one like Lethal Weapon. Oh, that's back to back. Maybe it wasn't back to back like Lethal Weapon. But maybe next time we would link up. We will be better. We will love each other. If you like this review, 9 times out of 10, you are already subscribed. So why not already leave a like? Comment, oh my God, Kyle, I love this review. You know what? I agree. And if you're new here, and this is your first time seeing all this, and you're like, you know what? I agree fully with everything. Everything. Your face, your voice, your view on movies, everything. Why don't you head and like and subscribe? Stay around a little bit. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to do this for a minute. So why don't you go ahead and stay around? Thank you for watching. And as always, good and bye.